Welcome everybody to the first map and lens video of 2024. And yes, I am a little bit late to the party, bearing in mind that it's now mid-March and this is the first time that I've even recorded a video. But in my defence, there has actually been a technical reason why it's taken me so long, and that is to do with the new Insta OneRS camera that you are looking out of right now, the helmet mounted one. The last two videos I'd released prior to this, back end of last year, which was the Helmsley TT video and the Yorkshire Cycling Club video, once I'd edited them and put them together, I'd noticed something that just didn't quite look right with the video. Now, if you want to play along, I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. Pause this, go and have a watch of those two videos and see if you can spot it for yourself. It's one of those that it's hard to spot, but when you see it, it's all you'll be able to see. Right, go and have a quick check. Right, welcome back. For those that have gone and come back. And what you should have noticed is this weird coloured contrast band that appears about halfway down the bottom of the screen, and it sort of changes the way that the road looks in the lower half of the video to what it looks like in the top half of the video. We just deal with this focus. And what it meant was that when you saw it, it was honestly the only thing that I could see on the video. Now, to be fair to Insta, they handled it pretty well. As far as I was aware, they did anyway. When I reached out to them, they asked for the camera back. Well, first off, they asked me to carry out a little bit of diagnosis, which was a little bit of a pain in the butt because I think their support office is based in China and are based in the UK, so there's a whole time distance. So it took a while for us to go through all of the fault finding they asked me to do. But the result of it was that they asked for the camera back. They sent a shipping pack, and I sent it back up to China, and then maybe 2-3 weeks later or something, I got an update in the in the repair portal. And they said that they weren't even going to bother trying to repair it, they'd just issue me a new one. And then again, another week or so later, this one arrived, which is, I assume, a brand new one or something. But anyway, it came direct from Insta, so it's definitely a replacement for what I already had. So it's funny, isn't it, because you don't really know how good a company is and how well it's going to honour their warranties until you actually need them. And when I saw something wasn't quite right with the Insta, I watched other people's videos and nobody else seemed to have those similar issues. You know, that weird sort of like effect on the picture was only mine, so I kind of just assumed there must be something wrong with my unit and I must just go unlucky. But when it got to the point about returning it, I did think, is this going to be a chew? You know, they don't have a UK or even an EU repair centre. I thought, I can see this being really problematic, but like I said, to give them their due, it wasn't. It was fine. They were dead easy. And I didn't really have any bother. So now anyone that's from the UK is going to know that 2024 has been a bit of a rubbish year weather-wise so far. It's not that it's been overly cold and we haven't really had any snow, certainly not where I'm from. Rain has been pretty much constant, and it's just not really been the weather to be out and about on a bike. So it's the first chance I've really had to get out and test it. So what I'm hoping is that when I get back home and whack this through the editing software, that all of that weirdness will have gone. but I really don't know until I try that. I've also moved to a different mic, something that's the previous mic I was using was a Purple Panda, which is highly recommended, but I just felt it picked up a little bit too much background noise, a bit too much engine noise, a bit too much wind noise. So it's a drift mic, this one, so hopefully this will do a slightly better job at picking up my drones of my voice and a bit less of the drones of the bike and the wind, but we'll see. Time will tell, I guess. And there isn't really much more of a plan than that, really. So this isn't going to be an overly long video. It's just going to be really a test of the new equipment and to see if it works all right. And also, I had a couple of jobs to do this morning. I went out for a bit of brekkie with my son, and in the bikers chat I saw that one of the lads I ride out with had gone out for a bit of a ride out to the coast because the weather was quite nice this morning, and I saw that and thought, do you know what, I'm envious, I'm going to go for it and have a ride out myself. So that is what we're doing. So if you're interested, this is the 171 North York Moors Road that goes out from sort of Kisborough way out towards Whitby and the coast, and it's probably a staple of any local biker. There's a couple of different ways you can go. This way that I'm sticking to keeps you out towards the moors, and if you take this left here you go down through Sands End along the coastway, and I tend to come back that way and make a little loop for this. As any Saturday where the weather's decent though, as you can see it is busy. Yeah. And whilst it looks nice now, it does keep coming and going the sun, so every time I'm out in the sun and I haven't wear my glasses, I remind myself that I really do want a tinted visor. It would just make it a little bit more comfortable. So I need to get that on my purchase list. Done a few bits and bobs to the bike over the winter as well, so once I get to Whitby I'll get a little bit of video and I'll show you around it. Nothing major, just a couple of little tweaks, a little bit of personalisation. Done a little bit of caging with some of the little radiator shrouds that were silver originally on the bike, and could have done with a bit of a touch up because they were looking a little bit worse for wear. So I'll give them a matte black just so it matches in with the engine, doesn't stand out so much. And then I fitted some tyre tape, and I know it's not to everybody's taste, but the rims on the bike are black and they're alright, they're in decent condition, but you know, they've got a bit of stone chipping and a little bit of bobs to them. So the tyre tape serves, the wheel tape serves two purposes. I think it makes the bike just pop a little bit, and also it sort of hides some of the chips and stuff, so it's not just for aesthetics. That's what I tell myself anyway. Oh, and the other thing actually is fitted LED indicators all around as well, just because I felt the originals just were a little bit too big and bulbous, and so that I could count the new LED indicators on the back. It's also got a tail tidy now, so I just think it looks a little bit tidier, but we'll get a little bit of video when I get to Whitby and I'll show you what I mean, and then you can decide yourself, see what you think. Oh, speaking of which as well, while I'm talking about Whitby, there's been some Whitby drama over the winter, in the sense that Thursday night there's always traditionally been bikers night in Whitby, and there's a little cafe. I've been to it quite a few times, maybe even on video. There's a little cafe just in the train station called the Whistle Stop, and it's a bit of a biker mecca on a Thursday night. So there's a car park out the front, and it's just full, absolutely full of bikes on a Thursday night. And then people usually go in and get a cup of coffee or a bit of food or whatnot, and the ride to the cafe is fun, usually across some of the awesome roads we've got around in the North York Moors, and then the ride back's equally good. But the car park itself is actually owned by the local rail service, and over the winter period they put a big sign up that was pretty much banning bikes from it, not at any specific times, could just completely and utterly. So it was a full-on ban of any motorbikes in the car park. So that didn't go down well, obviously, with the bikers, but also I don't think it went down especially well with local businesses, because, you know, if you've got, you know, it's like yourself, if you're bikers, you don't carry really food with you. So when you go to a place on your bike, you usually spend some money and buy coffee or a cake or a bit of food or both. So I think a lot of the local businesses kicked back against it as well, because it was going to harm the economy a little bit anyway. So long story short, everything's now resolved. I think it was Network Rail potentially, or Northern. They've backed down and seen sense and no longer barred bikers from the car park, which is great, because it means the Thursday night rides are back on again. Otherwise we'd have to find a different haunt to go to, and it's not like there isn't haunts that you could go to. There's loads of cafes around here that you could go to, but it was just always a meeting place. It was always a traditional place to go if you were riding a bike out here. So I'm glad that that's been resolved, and everybody's seen sense, and everybody's happy, they're each friends again, and those bikers aren't banned from the car park. And there's Whitby at the distance, all lovely in the sun. And having said everything that I've just said about the Whistle Stop Cafe, that's actually not where I'm going to stop today, because one of our buddies who posted in the bikie chat this morning posted a cafe up on the West Cliff, that's up on the top, and it looked lush from up there. It do look nice, and sometimes it's a little quieter up the top as well. Sometimes it's a little busy down the bottom, especially when the weather's nice on the side. So I'm thinking we might just pull up there, might be easier to get parked. So that, I think, is going to be the play-in. Don't know about anybody else who's bikers who's watching this. Don't know whether it's just me, but I've spent all of the winter period with Auto Trader and eBay open, looking at different bikes and thinking, do I fancy a change? Do I fancy something different? We try to be sensible and trying to just stick it for a little bit, but so many bikes out there, so many different types, so many things I've got my eyes on. It's difficult to, I find it difficult not to get distracted. I don't know. The thing with the Phaser is, I don't know if anybody's ridden one before, but it is a properly good bike. It's really comfy, but it's not fully silk and beg, although your legs are tucked up a little bit, so you do feel like a little bit sporty, but you're not fully leant over, so there's not too much weight on your wrist. The seat's big, you can slide back, slide forward, so you could actually tuck down if you wanted to, and I've done that a couple of times when I've been on the motorways to keep out of the wind a bit. But it's just such a fun bike. It's light, it's easy to ride, and it handles really, really nicely. And whilst the engine, you know, you do have to prod it a little bit with a big stick just to get it to wake up. You know, I've mentioned before in another video that if you really want to, you know, get the best out of it, you really do need to be stretching it up into the higher rev range. But there's quite a lot of fun to be had there, you know, sort of ringing her out a little bit. But I feel like very soon I'm going to be wanting to step up and and move to the next step of the biker journey and just see what that might be. So I don't know. The local dealer that I bought my previous two, well, this bike and my previous bike from, I do keep an eye on what he's got in his stock, because he's a very trustworthy guy. He's well renowned in the area. He's always been totally fair with me, and I've heard him over the phone when I've been in his shop being incredibly fair with other people who've bought bikes from him, and sometimes they've been well outside of any basic dealer warranty, and he's still trying to help out. So I do trust him, and every now and then he's got something in that's on my list of potential nexts, and he's actually got two at the minute. So I'm trying all of my strain not to head up and go and have a look, because who knows what I'll come back with. He's got a really nice K1300S BM at the minute, and my first choice of a next bike would be a K1300R, the naked version, partly because it was in one of my favourite movies, but the S is still really pretty, really good looking bike, and he's got one in and it seems fairly priced, nice colour, lots of service history. So I don't know, trying really hard not to drive in and have a look. Boys will be boys though, eh? I can't half tell that although it's still nice, or looks nice, that it's still a bit cold, because you know when you stop and you take your feet off the pegs just to have a rest, and then you try and put them back on again, then you go numb, and you get cramp, weird places in your hip. It makes you feel like a 80-year-old man. Might need to start doing yoga or something. Actually, riding with a visor up gives me an idea, gives a good way of testing the dead cat thing that I've got round the mic. See how good it is at blocking out wind noise. If it's rubbish, I can only apologise. So, if you haven't seen one of my videos before, or you're not familiar with Whitby, this is a train station coming up on the right hand side now, and the Whistle Stop Cafe is just past the traffic lights on the right hand side, and you'll see the big car park, and that was that's the biker's haunt where we all temporarily at least got banned from. That's a cafe there on the right. Filled with cars today though. This is Whitby with its fairly rare swing bridge. There you go, so that thing opens in the middle and swings inwards to let the big masted yachts and whatnot come through. And then we are going to try and not kill people who aren't paying any attention to the road. Right, so there we go. Little trip out to Whitby. Although it looks to me like the road ahead might be blocked. So that's not ideal. So we're going to need a diversion. Down through the town it is. Right then, so that's that. We're just leaving Whitby. Hopefully you like those little bits of changes that I've done to the bike. I know that I do. I think they make her pop just a little bit, just give her a little bit of something. There's a couple of people I had a little chat to there while I was grabbing a cup of coffee, and got some nice comments about how she looks, so that's always nice. It's good to know that I might not have ruined her. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this little short catch up. The weather looks like it might be on the turn to get a little bit better, so if that is the case, then hopefully there'll be some more videos coming real soon. In the meantime, thanks again for watching and ride safe. See you all later.